Okay, so let me get this straight. The newest attempt at controlling the narrative, called into action by the orange skin suit himself, slashes food stamps, then cancels the government's annual hunger report, the one tool we had to measure food insecurity across this country. Why? Because it might make him look bad, because he can't stomach numbers that tell the truth about America. This is what authoritarian regimes do. Just another example. When the facts don't fit the narrative, they don't change their policies, they change the data. They cancel the surveys, they silence the reports, they erase the record. See the pattern we've been having? And in the meantime, millions of Americans go hungry. And let's take a look about what hunger in America looks like. It's not some faraway tragedy. It's right here in every county, in every state. Feeding America website tells us over 50 million people have had to turn to food banks and pantries. 1 in 5 children, that's over 13 million kids, don't have enough to eat. That's not just numbers. That's stomachs that hurt at night. That's kids who can't concentrate in school. That's families sitting at the kitchen table choosing between keeping the lights on or putting food on a plate. And then let's talk about those choices. Your rent goes up, healthcare premiums rise, childcare costs crush families. So food is the thing that gets cut. Not because people are irresponsible, but because the system is rigged. Where you live matters too. I've talked about this in my equity series. Food deserts, neighborhoods without grocery stores, without transit, without safe access to affordable food. They mean your zip code can decide your health before you're even born, right? Add in discrimination and cycles of poverty, and you have barriers that last generations. And let's go ahead and address the trolls, if you've even gotten this far, because I can already hear you typing. Yes, both things can be true at the same time. Obesity doesn't cancel out hunger. In fact, they're often linked. When the only food nearby is a convenience store or fast food, when fresh produce costs more than processed junk, people fill up on what they can afford. Hunger in America doesn't always look like thinness. It often looks like cheap calories, skipped meals, and diets stripped of nutrition. Malnutrition and obesity are two sides of the same coin, and both are fueled by poverty and inequity. And then we have a man in the White House who has never in his life known what it is to go hungry, decides that we don't need to measure hunger anymore, that it's inconvenient, that it doesn't fit his story of greatness. Feeding your people should be the bare minimum for any government. It should be non-negotiable. But, this is bigger than hunger. This is about power. Every day there's another headline, another move to control what people see, what they hear, what they know. A news outlet silenced, a critic threatened, a data set erased. It's become a drumbeat. Wake up each morning and there are 2, 3 more examples of the same authoritarian playbook. Choke off the truth until only the leader's version remains. It's so obvious. That's why erasing hunger data is more than cruelty. It's a warning sign. Hunger is the canary in the coal mine, right? Because once a government can pretend hunger doesn't exist, it can just as easily pretend poverty doesn't exist. And once it pretends poverty away, it can pretend descent away. It starts with erasing the stomach, but it doesn't end there. And here's the deeper truth. Feeding your citizens isn't just charity, it's democracy in action. Democracy starves when leaders decide that millions of empty stomachs don't matter. Because the minute you abandon that duty, you've declared some people unworthy of being counted, unworthy of being heard. And that's why this decision isn't just cruel, it's dangerous. Hunger exists everywhere, in every county, in every state. And no matter how many reports they cancel, no matter how they twist the numbers, you cannot erase lived reality. So here's the real report. America is hungry, and this president doesn't give a damn.